99.1 and 99.5 FM. I am Joshua Van Sleckman. Thank you for joining us. Let's get to the news in details. Government penalizes Exxon Mobil and Flaring, but country ultimately has to pay. Vice President Dr. Bharat Jagdeo would have informed the nation last week that the EPA will be imposing a $30 penalty on every ton of carbon dioxide equivalent ExxonMobil flares after May 13, 2021. But what has not been disclosed until today is that Guyana will ultimately have to foot that bill. This is a consequence of the stability clause in the Stabroek Block Production Sharing Agreement, commonly referred to as PSA. In light of the fact that Guyana has no legislation for the signing of the contract, which sets out that the $30 penalty for flaring therefore means that Guyana will ultimately have to compensate ExxonMobil. Chartered accountant and attorney at law Christopher Ram, who has studied the agreement in depth and has a master's degree in oil and gas from Reading University in England, also agreed that Guyana is basically paying this new penalty tax thanks to the clause. He said too that if the oil company allows a compromise, Guyana will have to pay at least half of it. Commissioner General of the Guyana Revenue Authority, Godfrey Stacia, has confirmed that all duty-free equipment brought in by Superior Concrete Incorporated, the foreign control company that was setting up an illegal concrete batching facility at Houston Estates, have been seized. The GRA boss said too that there is an ongoing assessment of the said case to understand the extent to which the nation's tax law have been broken by the company. He said we are able to ascertain from other GRA officials that the loss to the state regarding the said equipment total more than $40 million. Two Superior Concrete Inc. officials, Ian Charles Jones and Richard Austin Shamlin, were told to leave these shores after it was found that they were working in Guyana on expired work permits. Both individuals were also highly disrespectful to government officials who tried on 3 occasions to bring an end to the rogue operations. The illegal operation that was being led by the foreign control company was taking place on a land adjacent to South Rheinfeldt. Brazilian oil and gas giant Petrobras has signed a $2.3 billion contract with Keppel Shipyard in Singapore to build a floating production, storage and offloading vessel FPSO, the 7th unit to be installed in the Brazilian field in Santo Basin. The contract was linked on Monday last between the two parties. Under the provisions of the agreements entered into by the Brazilian state oil company Petrobras, a requirement enshrined in the public pre-qualification document says that the contract complies with the local content of 25% with service to be executed in Brazil through a partnership of subcontracting or national companies. Additionally, the Brazilian state company is putting together its request for an FPSO indicated that the supply of the FPSO must result from the engineering, procurement, and construction contracting from Petrobras Energy strategy of developing new projects for its own platforms. You're listening to your morning newscast right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.1 FM. The EPA recently disclosed that after May 13, 2021, ExxonMobil's subsidiary Esso will be charged $30 for every ton of carbon dioxide equivalent released via flaring aboard the Liza Destiny vessel. This dedication is reflected in the modified Liza Phase 1 environmental permit that was signed by ExxonMobil Guyana officials and the EPA. Upon noting the foregoing, several industry stakeholders, both locally and internationally, said that some Guyanese may perceive the US $30 penalty as a good move. The truth, however, is such a tax is in no way the oil giant from flaring. In fact, President for the Central of International Environmental Law, Carol Moffett, categorically stated that the penalty is so low when compared to other market values that Guyana has essentially given the oil giant a license to pollute its airspace with over 250 toxic chemicals. According to a video that surfaced on social media, a woman was seen biting a police sergeant as he was trying to detain her son yesterday. The incident happened at the intersection of Good Fortune Road and Lagrange Old Road. A vehicle driven by an unknown male and occupied by passengers including his mother and sister was exiting Good Fortune Village, heading to the harbour bridge when it was stopped by a police officer. According to the video, the driver for the vehicle was about to be detained by the sergeant when an argument ensued. The driver was being held by his pants and was being told that he needs to be arrested. The argument subsequently escalated and the driver's mother tried to free him from the grip of the sergeant. The woman tugged on the arm of the police officer but was unsuccessful in releasing her son, after which she is seen leaning over between the two men. Persons at the scene, including persons that were recording the video, could have been heard exclaiming that she bit the sergeant. Her relatives eventually constrained her. Up to press time, it was unclear what action would be taken against the woman. The government of Guyana will be utilizing funds that were saved from the East Coast Demora Road expansion project to build 24 new connector roads along the project area. The Minister of Public Works, Juan Edgil, confirmed this. The additional works would cost some $1 billion, which includes around $56 million that was saved from the project and another $440 million that has been invested by the government. This has already been catered for in the 2021 national budget. In 2017, Guyana obtained a $45.5 million for the project through a concessional loan agreement with the China Export-Import Bank, which was signed by former Minister of Finance Winston Jordan and the China Exxon Bank official. With receipt of the funds, the project aimed to expand the highway road between Better Hope and Belfield Village on the east coast of Demora and enhance the mobility and accessibility of commuters to and from Georgetown. It was also said that the project would positively impact the accident rate and vehicular maintenance in the area. High Court Judge Justice Navindra Singh has ordered the Director of Public Prosecution, Shalimir Ali Haq, to present the indictment of state against Lennox Wayne within 30 days from last Friday, when a ruling was given refusing his application for a permanent stay on the murder charge. Wayne, called Two Collars, is charged with the murder of Ashmini Hariram, the 19-year-old Lusignan East Coast Demerara cosmetologist who was shot and killed on July 10, 2014. Wayne and his former co-accused, Melroy Doris, had faced a trial in the High Court but were remanded to prison after the jury failed to meet a verdict for the murder charge. One of the three suspects arrested for murdering a minibus driver at his home on Tuesday has admitted to the crime. This is according to investigators. They did not divulge much more details but added that the three men are expected to face a murder charge on Monday. Police believe that they were the ones that had murdered 39-year-old Marcus Julius Thomas of Kurukuru Sandpit Linden Suicide Harway. They are his in-laws and had attempted to murder him 3 times in the past. Crime Chief Wendell Blanham had said too that one of them had previously chopped Thomas and a report was made to the police, but the individual was never arrested because he also managed to elude police. One of the most recent attempts on Thomas' life before he was eventually murdered was back in August 2020, when he was chopped to his abdomen and forehead. In the attack on Tuesday around 18 hours 30, the suspects allegedly kicked open his door and attacked him. And finally, at this time, Joint Services River Patrol ranks on Thursday caught a Venezuelan gang member with an illegal firearm in Guyana's water. The man was intercepted by ranks between 11 hours and 15 hours 55 while in a boat in the vicinity of San Martin on Guyana shore, Kaieteur River, Region 7. According to a police report, a Glock 19 pistol along with 2 magazines containing 22 live rounds of ammunition were found in a red haversack he was carrying. The man was detained and taken into the police station. Police reported too that the Venezuelan national, they are more commonly known as Venezuelan gang, that has been operating in the Cuyuni district for a few years now. Their base is located on Venezuelan shore alongside the Cuyuni River, just a few miles away from the Venezuelan village. The gang is involved in fuel smuggling and would collect a tax from miners and businessmen who use the river to transport their fuel. And that just about wraps things up here for your main newscast right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. Allow me to remind you that you can get the full details of these stories and much more by picking up a copy of the Kaieteur News at a newsstand near you, or head across to our website at kaieteurnewsonline.com. My colleague Kevin Smith comes up next with the Weekend Review, whereby we recap all the top stories we carried over the past week. I'm Joshua Van Sleckman. Thank you for joining us. Have a great remainder of your Sunday morning. Encouraging you to practice social distancing and to wear your face mask.
Kevin Smith, and welcome to this week's edition of the Week in Review. Let's begin this week's edition with our oil and gas segment. Between fossil fuels and renewables, Secretary General of the United Nations, Mr. Antonio Guterres, said there is no doubt now that the